Welcome everyone, I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and now that all of the film has been watched and all of the grades are in, it's time for the Football Game Plan Scouting 2018 NFL Draft Prospect Preview. Before we get started with our prospect rankings, here's how we gather our grades and what they actually mean. First, we watch a minimum of 3 full games on a player, a prospect's best game, his worst game, and the best or intriguing matchup. And second, we grade on 15 key points specific to the position to equal 100 points in total. Now, here's what the grades that you'll see by a prospect's name will actually mean. Prospects that earn grades in the 90s graded out as future NFL All-Pros. Prospects in the 80s are considered future Pro Bowl players. Grades in the 70s represent solid NFL starters, and grades in the 60s are players that we believe are spot starters in the NFL. And if you notice, we don't use the word reserve or backups because we personally feel as though that there are no such thing as backups in the NFL, only starters in waiting. So without further ado, let's kick off our prospect rankings by taking a look at our top 10.
Kicking off our guard rankings is Braden Smith of Auburn. From a recognition and technical standpoint, I thought he was the most consistent on tape in that respect. Smith also has above average footwork and is strong in the running game. His hands stay inside and he clears out space for the ball carrier. Second is Isaiah Wynn of Georgia. Where he has a lot of success is in the athleticism department. He's probably one of the best athletes at the position in his draft class. You can get him out on the move in a run and also in the passing game. He's also rarely fooled by any games a defense may try to run up front. While Quentin Nelson may not be the athlete that Wynn or Smith is, what he does have is phenomenal functional strength. Nelson is a heavy-handed mauler that can beat you up in the running game and shows above average ability in recognizing stunts and blitzes with enough quickness to be able to get there and pick up the block. Tony Adams of North Carolina State has been one of my favorite offensive linemen to watch in college football. I'm a big fan of the passion and willingness to not give up on a play down in, down out that he brings to the table. He's also versatile enough to function at center, but I believe as a guard, with his point of attack strength, he has a chance to be a solid pro starter for over a decade. Rounding out the top 5 is Dijon Allen of Hawaii. Versatility is the name of the game in pro football, and Allen has that in spades. The 6'2", 293-pound offensive lineman can play any one of the positions up front, and I was at the UMass game back in August, and he was outstanding as a left tackle in that contest. He's a technically sound player with the footwork to give any offense some flexibility within their running game. Looking at the rest of the top 10, and you can see that this is an excellent guard class. Sean Welsh of Iowa, Colby Gossett of Appalachian State, and Trent Scott of Grambling are outstanding athletes that are consistent in a running game. I think Wyatt Teller of Virginia Tech's game is being undervalued by most, but with the way he uses his hands on both ends of offense, it's hard not to see him stand out on film. Will House of Southern Nazarene is a name and a program that many may not recognize, but the small school product brings some big-time game to the table. You want to see small school players dominate their level of competition, and House did just that. The transferable skills that he brings to the table is in the movement and athleticism department. He's extremely gifted in that area and also has Quentin Nelson-like mean streak that you want to see up front. He's played multiple spots up front for SNU, so versatility will get him in the door, and how quickly he can match the consistency of speed and strength that he'll face as a pro will keep him there. As we move on to prospects 11 through 20, you can see how much I think of the quality and the depth of this guard class. Will Hernandez of UTEP had a strong week of work at the Senior Bowl. Skylar Phillips, Jamil Demby, and Justin Lee, sorry about the misspelling, are tremendous prospects coming out of the FCS. Austin Colbert of Nevada can play multiple roles up front as he has that good versatility and flexibility that you look for along the offensive line. Mark Cordy of Alberta is a name of intrigue to many because his game is unfamiliar to a lot of folks because he played in Alberta, but that's why it's good to get out and about to all of these places because we are very familiar with this game. I saw him at the U Sports East-West Bowl up in Quebec City last May, and he was one of the standouts all week long. His athleticism is on par with some of the top tier guard prospects in the States. That was actually on display at the Shrine game this past January. The small nuances of the American game will start to come to him as he plays more, as well as some of the technical things that he can refine. But overall, Cordy is a top-notch prospect that's also one of the top prospects in the upcoming CFL draft as well. Matt Gano of Division III Wesley is another small college prospect with tremendous upside. As we talked earlier about Will House, it's about dominating your level of competition, and that's exactly what he did for the Wolverines. He has all of the requisite athletic gifts, your footwork, your movement skills, your functional strength, but it's the technical parts of his game that's still a bit rough around the edges. A pro offensive line coach that gets Gano will get an athletic player with tremendous upside left in his game. Jake Bull of Hillsdale College has impressive skill set for a 6'5", 300-pound lineman. Athletically gifted, Bull is just that in the running game. He's very bullish, and what was impressive about his tape is that he utilized his hands extremely well and was above average in the movement department. He also spent time at both guard and tackle in college and played some center at the National Bowl this past December. I think he could serve any one of the three roles as a pro. Rounding out the list of prospects with 21 through 28, and Kyle Bosch of West Virginia, I thought came on strong at the East-West Shrine game and impressed with his ability in the running game all week long. Victor Tamba Jr. of Bowie State is a name to keep an eye on at 6'4", 335, and with his ability in pass pro, he could see some time at both tackle and guard as a professional.
So that's a wrap for our 2018 FBGP Scouting Draft Prospect Preview. To see more of our individual scouting reports, follow us on Twitter at FBGP Scouting and bookmark the page footballgameplan.com/FBGP Scouting. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan, where you can get all of our scouting videos, mock drafts, and NFL draft prospect videos. And one more thing, subscribe to us on iTunes under Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find the Scout Team Podcast, where we interview multiple NFL draft prospects.